There are over 150 million children worldwide that are waiting to be adopted by their forever family. These numbers could be drastically lowered by making adoption more affordable. Most adoptions cost more than $40,000, which financially hinders many prospective parents seeking adoptions. Kids get placed into the foster care system for many different reasons. Either they have been abused, neglected, or abandoned, or they are unable to continue living with their families for reasons such as drugs, alcohol, or criminal charges. To give you more insight on adoption and the adoption process, there are multiple types of adoption. The first is domestic adoption. And inside domestic, there are 4 different types of adoption. The first being public agency adoption. Adoption is done through this method, and more than 100,000 children are eligible and waiting in this system. The next is licensed private agency adoption. In this system, it is mostly infants that are desired, and there is most often a wait of 2 years or even more. The next is independent adoption. This method matches families with birth parents, but this is a long process and often takes multiple years as well. The last domestic adoption method is facilitated or unlicensed agency adoption. This method uses a paid facilitator, but many states prohibit this method because it is often unregulated. Aside from domestic adoption, there is international adoption. There is 2 systems inside this option. The first is Hague Convention country adoption. With this option, families use an adoption provider and must choose a specific country of origin up front. A home study and traveling to that country twice is required before adoption. The next is non-Hague Convention country adoption. In this method, the home study is done before the selecting of a country. And also, the child must be declared an orphan by the United States before the adoption. All of these forms of adopting children are very confusing and extensive, but those are just a few of the ways adoption is hindered. The biggest difficulty with adoption is the financial burden on families. To adopt out of foster care, which is the most inexpensive method, is $3,000. But the children are often older and have either been abused or neglected, which causes many families hesitation as they often feel unequipped to handle these types of situations. In private adoption, the cost ranges from $40,000 to $50,000. The parents have to work with an agency, and infants are in high demand, which causes a long waiting period. Independent adoption is also $40,000 to $50,000, but the parents have to work with an attorney. But they are, again, long waits to be matched with the birth parent seeking the adoption avenue. Then you have international adoption. This method reaches $50,000 and more. Many countries have restrictions along with many other extra fees that contribute to this high cost. Some of these restrictions and fees are: you have to prove how much money you make per year. You have to travel to the selected country twice and stay for an extended period of time before the adoption. A home study costs roughly $1,500 to $3,000. You have to pay for passports for both you and the child, and the birth certificate for them, and a medical exam. They have to have a travel escort, which costs $1,500 to $4,000. The agency fee alone costs anywhere from $7,500 to $30,000. And the application itself is $200 to $500. There are so many reasons to lower the cost of adoption. One reason being, many children are waiting and continue waiting for years. Like I said earlier, there are over 150 million children worldwide waiting to be adopted. Also, more children could be adopted. Waiting times are longer than 2 years, and the children wouldn't have to age for so long before they are in their forever home. And more children could be loved and nurtured younger. Infants need love and nurture to survive, and infants can have an attachment disorder or issues. If you were to have a child of your own at a hospital, it is significantly cheaper. On average, U.S. hospital deliveries cost anywhere from $3,500 to $8,800. This is including the stay, prenatal, delivery-related, and postpartum health care. To conclude, there are many reasons to lower adoption costs. It could inevitably harm the child's mental growth, and it could spark up other issues that would cause problems down the road. And there would not be so many kids aging out of the system with nowhere to go.